Hi Trudy, hi Mark. This is what you use. It's lard. I know it's probably gross, but you can use cooking oil or whatever you want. But what I normally do is take 1.5 cups of flour. And I'm not used to measuring anything. I'm doing it for your. And then you can do equal parts of both. For you and Trudy, probably just use a cup each. This is self-rising biscuit flour. What I do is use 1.5 of regular flour and 2.5 of the self-rising. And I never measure, as you can see, I never measure this. I just get it like that. So for your sake, I'll measure it. 1, 2, and 3. Keeping. And that's what it takes for that. And we're done with that. And all you do is just kind of like knead that a little bit to where it distributes real good. And my brother, while I'm doing that, I'll show you. My brother made me this rolling pin. And what he did is PVC pipe. And he got some sandpaper and he just sanded both ends. And that's what I use for my rolling pin. It's the least expensive.
What do you call that in Spanish?
Palote. Which means, palo means stick. So that's what they named it, palote. Anyway, after this is all incorporated, and you can tell the consistency, it's like kind of like making biscuits, you know. In fact, you could use the same recipe for biscuits, and then you just pour your buttermilk in there. I don't measure my water, I just pour because I learned to make it from feel. Are you reaching the top part? Are you reaching over here? All I do is put...
Got a minute and a half left.
All you do is just mix that into a dough. And you don't want to get too much water, but if you have too much water, then you can add flour. Or if you have too much flour, then you can add water. And then you just go around in a circle like that until that becomes like a dough ball. And you just keep doing that over and over like that. See that? And you just take your flour. I've been doing this since I was 9, so there's no recipe for me. And then you take that and you incorporate it into what you already had on the table. And this is just like making dough for like crust or whatever. And if it's too watery, like I said, you can always put flour to it. You just keep kneading it. Running out of time, Dave?
Got a minute and 32 seconds.
Okay. I'll just continue till you run out of time.
No, I'm sorry. You got an hour and 32 minutes left.
Oh, you were worried?
But it's the batteries. I don't know how long the batteries will keep. But
yeah.
Hey, I'll let it go till the batteries die. So you've got an hour and a half. You think you can do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently there's more. There's a lot more data storage than I thought. So.
Yeah, he was freaking out for a minute.
Yeah. It's got a pretty good little hard drive for a little camera. A little point and shoot camera.
And then what I do, once I get it to that consistency, it's like dough. You know, it's not sticky at all. So what you do is you form a ball. And my way of measuring it is just grabbing it, making little balls, keep moving it around, like so.
Believe it or not, this is not in fast motion. That's our regular speed.
The rolling part, it'll take you a while. Bill makes stars and fish and all kinds of things. And sometimes you'll have a little bit and you can just add to whatever, whichever one looks like not big enough. you make them into little balls. Okay, now we get to the rolling part. And you put a little bit of flour on your counter, and you can use the excess like that. Okay, this is the rolling part. It won't stick, of course, because you've got flour underneath, but as you roll, you just flip it over, and the other side's sticky. So all you do is roll, pick it up where it's fat. You see it's fat, pick it up like that, and it automatically stretches itself. That's what the lard does. Now, when you use oil, it's not, I don't think it's too much elastic. But anyway, you're not going to have perfect. You just mend, you get a hole in it, you just take a little piece from another one and just stick it on there, and presto mako. Okay. Just like, oops, made a mistake. All you do is unroll it. No big deal. Just patch it up. See the hole? And from there, bam, hole's covered up. Alright. Just pick it up, and if it still feels fat, you just take it around, just straighten it out where you want to straighten it out. Like I said, you won't be a professional at it.
Right away.
Okay. Now, I'm taking it to the griddle. You coming? I've got it set on about 6.5. And I got this pan from Walmart. And I use a fork. And I turn it a couple of times. And then once it cooks, and it cooks really hot and fast, and bam, there's your tortilla, presto mako. And I turn it around because sometimes...
It don't take long to cook it, does it?
Sometimes the grill gets hotter on some ends than the other. But you flip it over. If it's too hot, like I said, you can use a fork. My mother used to tease me and say that I cook like a gringo, like a white person, because the tortillas weren't. And that's it. That's how you make tortillas.
Get another one.
Okay.
Do one more.
There you go. See how it's fat right there? Oops. Didn't better pick it up right. You can tell when you pick it up too if it's fat, different places if it's fat. Didn't expect to do this much patching. Well.
Have to sell that in a tube. Just squirt it out and patch your tortilla. Call it tortilla patch.
You hold your tortilla like this from the top and put it on your griddle. And that'll take a little bit of practice too, and it'll start bubbling up, as you can see, so that's why you have to pick it up. You don't want to bubble, because then where underneath that bubble, it won't cook, and then you have to use your fork and mash it down to cook it. And that's how you make a flour tortilla. You can purchase these at Walmart.
What are they called?
They're just flat pans.
You call them platillo?
Yeah.
It's a cast iron skillet, like without the sides.
Like
Just
I said,
flat.
if it doesn't cook in here because you let it bubble up, then you just take your fork and just go like that, and it'll cook it wherever it didn't cook. And that's all there is to that. And you make a stack. And depending on how big the balls you make, then
Lena's tortillas.